Welcome back, beautiful human beings. This is Ted here with Bodies and Wicks. And just before we get started, I do want to let you know what we're going to be talking about. All right, was that good enough for you guys? I hope it was. Anyways, the sad thing is that I had been streaming all along. It's just that YouTube was not streaming it for me for some reason. So I have been talking about quite a few things, and I'll probably have to go back and find the recording of it and then splice it up and then re-upload it. Because we were talking about quite the multitude of things about Bitcoin and Ethereum. Well, just now getting to Ethereum, but I was making my price predictions on Bitcoin as they continue to go up. And if we want to, let's just go ahead and head on over to the Bitcoin right now. So what I was saying earlier is that I did make, as the Bitcoin was kind of in a free fall earlier, probably around 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock or so. That is when I put in a long, right here. Price around, let me see here. It's at the stop loss right now, so the stop loss would be 50, 60, 54. So what happened was that I'll pull this down. As you can see, I do have a Bitcoin trade going, and I've already taken one partial profit off of this already. So, and it is continuously growing. And what I was doing is I was looking for the lowest points to where it would actually go. Now my real trade, I actually entered in a little bit more there down in this area. But the reason I entered into the area that I entered into was due to the fact of this huge area that had went up, right? So, and then there was really no kind of pullback. Generally you see somewhat of a pullback and then go forward. Instead, it kind of just stayed above here and consolidated. And then that's when we started seeing the pullback as of early this afternoon, I guess you could say. And then, so what I wanted to point out before that was the breaker that was happening over here, which is actually a 5-minute breaker. So, which means there's a low, a high, a low, and then a higher high. And generally what happens is that if you get above that breaker, it stays above it. But of course, the wicks did get above, but the bodies not so much. So what I would be looking for is, once it did get above the breaker, would be to see, once it got to the bottom end, would be to enter into another long. So now that we have, move this over here, again, I was looking at this apparatus down here that pulled down and then pulled up. Generally that's where you look for it to go long, because that's where the people that have the most money drop the most money, right? So that way they can find a good entry. So they release all their money, they sell all of it. It scares people into selling, and so they do sell, and then so it gives them a better price. And then not only do they buy at this price, but they also go long. And so what I was looking for, and I can get rid of these lines here, is I was this green line, that's the one I was looking for. You know, at first it was touching, you know, the top of this and the top of this, and I was thinking that doesn't make any sense. What it would actually need to do for me to make sense was for it to touch the top of this little 15-minute candle. That's the red candle, because that's where they dropped a lot of money, and then boom, it exploded. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Dropped a lot of money, and then boom, it exploded after that. So generally when that happens is they drop a lot of money, and then they also leverage sell it, so that way it can push down a lot. Didn't mean to do that. And didn't mean to do that. I think it's just not cooperating with me today. But they push it down, leverage sell it, that way it can drop a lot, and then boom, as you can see, there is a solid bottom on this candle. So as soon as the time passed over, boom, they just turned around and bought. And so then what I would be looking for is for it to return to that price, because if they're leverage selling it, right, then they have deep pockets, right? They have deep pockets, and those deep pockets generally result in they can hold on to that short trade. Let me illustrate that for you here by doing a short position. Doing a short position here, and extending that across and pulling this up above here. So they can short trade that, right, as they push it down. They have deep pockets, they can go into the red forever, and eventually they can push it down again until it gets back into that original area. That way they can release the original trade, and that way they break even on that short. However, what they've made on the long has been way worth it. So now they've dropped it to where they can get above here, and they probably took profits here, waited till it got back down here, released the trade, and then added another long, right? And so now what I wouldn't be suspect of, but considering they did short it here, they had plenty of time to, well, at least take profits on the way down, especially if they shorted it here to try to get it back down to here, scaring the bejesus out of people. So that being said, now that we are on the other side of the breaker, what I would be looking for, what I am looking for is to see if it gets, I was thinking this would be the support line here. I can draw it, or I'm gonna at least let you see it a little bit better. This right here, this 51,500 basically. Just because it did have this huge wick, right? And even though it pulled back down, pushed back up almost to the same area, this could easily be, you know, kind of a support area. Lowest I would think it could get if it did pull back would be down to this area, but now that we are actually above the breaker, I don't expect it to get more than halfway through this green box right here, and so far we're not getting there. So which is a good thing. So what I'm waiting now is this orange line right here. This is the next high, right? This is the next swing high, right? And so I'm waiting to get above that to take my second profit. So I took my first profit as soon as we got above maybe not. I don't know if we got above it, but we were near it. Let me see what the price was. It's not showing the price. Usually it shows the price if you hover over it. May have moved that. Not showing the price. Trading. Order placements. Appearance. I don't know. Not showing the price. I thought it was going to show the price, but maybe it wouldn't show the, but it's somewhere in there. Let me see if I can't get any closer in the 5 minute. Oh, yeah, it looks like after it was pulling down into there. So I didn't want to lose the momentum of it going up. So I did take profits in this candle right here. Actually, maybe if I go to the maybe if I go to the what's the word I'm looking for? Orders. Build 50, 51, 51, 42, I guess is where it was. 51, 51, 42. All right, so this is interesting. Again, let's see if it hits. There we go. Did exactly what I thought it would do. That orange line right there. Thought it would hit that and then rebound, and it's looking like it's trying to push a little bit lower into it. I don't blame it. I've got my stop loss protected, even if it is just 0.1. If I do see it start a fall, what I do want to take a look at is this right here. Okay, so it did cover the gap. Now that it did cover the gap, I don't see any other reason why it wouldn't turn around and go bullish again. Again, unless it's really trying to reach down into this area, which I don't think it is. I mean, it could, because there is liquidity laying below here, but I just don't see it happening. So we shall see. All right, next, let's check out Ethereum. Everybody's talking about Ethereum. Holy jeez. Okay, I was talking about 1715 being the next target, and it is definitely looked like it is way above that, which is a good sign. The only question is that when things go that fast, that quick, what is the reasoning, and if there's going to be some kind of consequence. I'm on the 15 minute. Let me get back to the hour. Looks like this right here, this last green up candle. Could possibly be the bearish order block Yeah, it stopped it in its path and turned it to turn around. Which is fine. That's perfectly fine, to be honest. Looks like there may be a little bit of a volume imbalance in between these two right here. That's something I'm also going to note.